This is a small British movie, and it's actually the sixth one by Jessica Hausner. However, I haven't seen any of her previous work, so I had no idea what to expect. But this is really one of those movies that you want to know as little about as possible. So I'm gonna do my very best to give away virtually nothing here. Because it's actually super straightforward and it doesn't offer a whole lot of twists and turns. But the story here essentially follows a botanist or plant scientist of some sort, who's working on developing a new special sort of houseplant. One that, if successful, is supposed to make the owner happy. And I think that's an intriguing idea, and what happens next is interesting as well. And I really want to compare this to a certain other movie, because the parallels are very obvious, and I wouldn't be surprised if that one served as inspiration for this one. But I won't name it because that would pretty much immediately give away what happens. And this definitely took a bit of a different approach to a very similar premise. And I wouldn't call it a rip-off or anything like that, but they do share a lot of similarities. But anyway, I will say that on a technical level, this is a very well made movie. First of all, the score is this very effective and stripped down sort of percussive score, with a lot of very interesting noises that include dogs barking. So that was definitely something a bit different and pretty unique. And visually I really liked this movie. It looked really good and felt way more expensive than it probably was. It just has a bit of a stylized look with a lot of strong colors. And overall it has this sort of clean and meticulous aesthetic as well. And yeah, I really enjoyed this movie on a visual level. It's just very stylish. And I didn't really have any issues with the acting either, especially Emily Beecham in the main role was pretty good. And as I already mentioned, I did like the premise and the general idea here. However, here's the problem I had with it. It's just too linear. And once you figure out what's going on and what's probably gonna happen, which you most likely will within the first 30 minutes or so, because the setup and the premise is the movie. There just really aren't a lot of surprises or any kind of twists and turns along the way. There aren't a lot of layers to peel back and to keep you guessing. It's all very linear and straightforward, and the movie pretty much went where I expected it to. And I think it very much needed something more to keep it interesting. Because, and this hurts to say, but it turned out to be a fairly dull experience. It started off well enough, and I like what they did with the story in general too. But it just needed something more, a few twists and turns to keep you on your toes and to make it more engaging. But as it is, there's really only one thing going on in the entire movie. And I feel like it didn't do enough with that concept or take it far enough. Also, as I said, you can pretty much guess where it's going very early on. And that's a bit of a shame because there was potential for more here. But that's pretty much it. I don't know what else to say about this really. I mean, it's one of these cases where I'd like to dig a bit more into the details, but then I'd immediately spoil the only thing this story has going for it, so I won't. However, the question remains, would I recommend this? I wouldn't not recommend it. It's not terrible, but it's definitely not a must-see either. So you can probably skip it or don't. After all, I'm not your dad. But hey, what are your thoughts on this? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a thumbs up or sub to the channel, because that would be fantastic. And if you'd like, you can also support me on Patreon or PayPal through the links in the description. And as always, I appreciate you and thanks for watching.